Michelle. Delighted. I think this is the seventh chat for our regular literary review. Myself and Steve here.
Fantastic. I've lost count.
Yeah, hi Michelle. I think Terry's right. It's 7, but I think I've only been with you for 5 of those 7. Anyway, we're here again. So, what's it like in Wales today? You like what we've got? Sunny weather, quite warm, or is it?
Can't even see the village below us.
Oh, that bad? Is it foggy now? Misty?
It's foggy. It's wet. It's what a mess. Yeah, you can't see the village below. It's a mess. It's all foggy. It's wet. It's there.
Okay, fair enough. We'll forget that. So it's all right in Wales today, but it's a bit foggy and wet.
It's a bit foggy and wet, yeah.
Anyway, we've recently had some great chats with Bill Prysack, the author of King Noir novels, and Paul Lafferty, author of Down the Lane. Both recommended by you. Tell us more.
Yes. Yeah, they're amazing. And I love the King Noir series. Denny Bowie is a private investigator. And it's amazing. And funnily enough, even though the subject matter is quite dark, somehow Bill gets just a nice level of, it's not that dark that you come out of the book feeling depressed. So totally highly recommend Bloodletting.
Do you know, Bill, talking to Bill, he's got a great voice for a podcaster, like a radio as well, like Steve has been a radio presenter. And he sounds good, it comes across well, the audio.
Yeah, and it just seems like a really nice bloke as well. Yeah. And so you spoke to Paul Lafferty, and his life working in the strip clubs as a DJ and bouncer. I mean, what a story. What a lifestyle, what a life for him to live. Absolutely amazing. Totally. The 2 books totally enthralled me. And I've got another one coming up by C.P. Daly, Dead After Midnight. Let me tell you, what a way to start a book. She opens it with it's a story about a young girl, Susie Q. And
Susie Quattro?
No, her name's Susie Q. But yeah, it could be Quattro, couldn't it?
Does she can the can?
Can the can, yeah. Stumbling in.
And she's a prostitute, and she's dragged into working the prisons for the mob by her so-called friend Lucy. And then Lucy gets murdered while they're in there. And somehow, even though all the prisoners didn't manage it, Susie manages to get the hell out of the prison. And then she goes to the one friend that she thought she had, and he turns out to be an undercover FBI agent. So, and she's on the run. She's running from everybody. She's running from the only friend she thought she had. She's running from the mob. And she moves to a quiet little town, settles down, gets on with her life, becomes a completely different person. And then, bam, it all catches up with her. And that's all I'm going to tell you. You're going to have to read
I was going to say, don't say any more.
Yeah. I like the sound of that. Sounds great.
Absolutely brilliant. I totally loved it. Found it really hard to put down. So that is Dead After Midnight by C.P. Daly. And it is absolutely fantastic. I've given that a 10 out of 10. Totally loved it. Right.
Who's next then, Michelle? Who have you got on the list? We've just been I've just linked, thanks to you, I've linked up with George Cavanaugh, the audiobook narrator, screenwriter.
You said it right.
Yeah, I think so. Cavanaugh, that's the way I'd say.
Cavanaugh. I thought he said it was Cavanaugh with an A-W.
Really?
Cavanaugh. I don't know. Right. One of my childhood friends was Donovan Cavanaugh. Right.
Oh, he is Cavanaugh. It is Cavanaugh.
Is it?
The spelling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember years later, I was speaking to somebody from the States, and they were saying Cavanaugh. And then when they sent me the name written down, it was Cavanaugh.
That's on your to be read list or to be listened to list?
That's on my to be listened to list. Yeah, because it's been a while since I've listened to an audiobook. Last one was Sherlock Holmes with all the short stories. And I think over Christmas, I will give you some little snippets of the Sherlock Holmes one, and we'll do like a whole Sherlock Holmes episode, if you like.
Yeah.
Because they're just quick ones, because they're all short stories.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love a bit of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle? And did you know that he was a spiritualist, and he was buried outside of the churchyards because of his faith?
Oh, I know he was friends with what's his name? The magician, the escape artist, the American bloke. He died in an accident. Houdini. I think Houdini. He was friends with him, I think.
Yeah, he was well into it all.
Wasn't he involved with little girls? Like, they found out later it was a hoax. They said they had fairies at the bottom of the garden, and they had these pictures, these photographs, the girls holding up the fairies. And something like 60 years later, they discovered that it was a hoax. But I think he believed that, and he was trying to promote them as a true story.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's sweet, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love him. I love Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I'm glad that because in those days, because it was my mum's faith book, she was a spiritualist as well. Mum and dad, they actually met when my dad was the exiting president of Witness Spiritualist Church, and my mum was the president coming in, and that's how my mum and dad met. So the fact that he got a knighthood, even though he was a spiritualist, which in those days was taboo. So obviously I'm going to be a fan of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But who doesn't love Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
Roadwork by Stephen King.
Okay.
Roadwork. It's not a horror. If anything, it's just really, really sad. It's about a gentleman called Bart Dawes, and the city are going to plough through his workplace and then through his home to put a new road that they don't even need. He lets the company go, even though he doesn't own it. It was up to him to find a new place for the laundry, because he worked for an industrial laundry. It was up to him to find a new place. He didn't, because this is his stand against this road. And the reason that he doesn't want them to plough through his house is he'd had a little boy called Charlie, and all his memories of that little boy were in that house, and the little boy died of a brain tumour. So it was just really, really sad. It's not a horror. If you're looking to read Roadwork for the horror factor, it isn't. It's just really heartbreaking. I even had a bit of a cry at the end there, and I felt really, really sorry for Bart Dawes. It was just really sad. It was a nice man who got mad. Who was basically driven mad by the city, because he didn't want to lose the place. He'd rather die than lose what memories he had of his little boy. So it was heartbreaking. So if you're going to read Roadwork, I think I gave it an 8 or a 9 out of 10, because it's a good story. It's a Stephen King, but it's don't read it for the horror factor, because it's not horror. It's just really, really sad.
Well,
I think we did them all, didn't we? Yep, go on.
I was going to say, one of Stephen King's best books, or his best film that was made of his books, The Shawshank Redemption. Again, that's not horror. It's a story. It's just a matter of it's redemption, isn't it? Really. Yeah. It was the Rita Hayworth experience or something like that, I think, as a short story that the film was based on.
I don't know. I remember, was it Morgan Freeman, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was, yeah. He played in the book, it was an Irish character with red hair.
But
you couldn't get a better actor than Morgan Freeman playing that part.
No, and he said it bottomed out at the theatres, and really didn't make its money back originally. And people come up to him and say, I saw you in the shoes. He said nobody could get the name right.
So we'll just say thanks again, and let's keep in touch and speak soon. Yeah.
All right. Speak to you next month.
Cheers, Michelle.
Good to see
Cheers.
you.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care. Yeah, see you both.
See you
later.
soon.
The rest of your evening.